Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cyber Planet. My name is Karim Chata, and I am your host. Today, we have a very special guest who works at one of the largest telecom company in Tanzania as a manager in cyber GRC. When I say GRC, I mean governance, risk, and compliance. Her name is Macbethana Wilfred. Macbethana, karibu sana.
Thank you, Karim, and thank you for actually having me in your podcast.
So, Macbethana, can you please tell us about yourself?
Just like what you've mentioned, I am working at the moment at one of the biggest telecom here in Tanzania, and I can just say at the moment I'm working at cyber GRC, just like what you've given the abbreviation. G is for governance, risk, and compliance, and sometimes it can be for control. I have been working with this company, or in the company is actually Vodacom because that's the public information. You can get that on my LinkedIn. I've been working with Vodacom for almost 4 and 7 months now, at least 4 and 7 months. And prior to that, I was working at banking industry, and I've worked at two banks. Prior to that, I've also worked with consulting companies. And I have obtained my bachelor's and master's degree, and my master's was in cybersecurity. Actually, I got more interested in cybersecurity, and I decided to go to school for my cybersecurity master's. And yep, I think that's my small introduction of who I am, what I'm doing at the moment.
Thank you for the short and brief introduction that you've just given us. Macbethana would like to understand, how did you get started into cybersecurity?
I remember, actually, I have been working in cybersecurity all along since I that was my first job. My first job was in cybersecurity, but different. I've worked in different field in cybersecurity. So what
Okay.
really got me interested was, first of all, my first job. It was in a small consulting company that was offering cybersecurity services to different companies. When I was working that job, I remember like I was given cybersecurity roles on trainings on how to, furnish trainings for companies and assisting on tendering and things like that. But I really had an itch in me that I wanted to do more in cyber, because I remember back then I wasn't so skilled. No, I did not have any certification. So I would see pen testers coming in from abroad, and they would come and do these things, and I was like, I wish it could have been me in that place. So that is why I got this itch in me to just further myself. And that is when I
Yeah.
decided I want to go and pursue my master in cybersecurity, because I thought it is through this channel that can open doors for me in this field. And actually it did. That's just how it started. I was curious. I wanted to do what those people could do, and
Yeah.
I thought to myself, the only way is just me furthering myself. I had the time. I started seeking for opportunities, school opportunities, and I got, and here I am right now.
Previously, on the introduction, I mentioned that you are working as a cybersecurity defense and governance, risk, and compliance in general. So, can you please give us an overview of what the role is all about?
Okay, and I can just like to correct you. At the moment,
Okay.
I am fully working on GRC, and I am no longer working on cyber defense, because that was last year when we decided that I'm no longer gonna do defense, and that was
Okay.
for more specialization. I think we are all aware in cybersecurity we've got different domains, and
Yeah.
defense is one standalone domain, and GRC is one standalone domain. However, one
Yeah.
can decide to do both of them, because at some point, like I was doing both of them. I can just give an overview of what I normally like do, or what the job or role entails when it comes to GRC. So cyber GRC actually, in general or in summary, I can say my responsibility or a responsibility of a
Yeah.
GRC is just to make sure that they are assisting the business to prioritize cyber risks,
Okay.
and to prioritize cyber risks, and advising the management on which risks they can be mitigated, which risks can be given to other third parties in terms of insurance and things like that, or which risks can be accepted and which ones can be eliminated or they can be avoided. That's just in summary. Why do I say
Okay.
that? Because in business, in a business landscape nowadays, like there is a heavy utilization of IT, and especially where I'm working, like we heavily utilize technology and IT systems. Those IT systems and technology comes with the blessings of other people being attracted to want to misuse them, whether internally or externally. So my job is just making sure that we are highlighting those areas in technology and we are identifying those risks. We're telling the management, senior management, in terms of prioritization, and we work together just to make sure that we are maintaining the risks at a level that is acceptable to the business. My in my job mainly, like we in my job we do that in terms of cybersecurity now in the cyberspace. What are the cyber
Okay.
risks that we have? What are the cyber risks that we have to mitigate? Meaning that the business has to dedicate funds, has to dedicate resources, has to dedicate
Yeah.
time, ensure that those risks are mitigated. What are the risks that the business, cyber risks that the business can accept, meaning that if
Yep.
they materialize, they're within the tolerance level, meaning that the business can tolerate when this risk can materialize and things like that. With that, we get prioritization, meaning that we know who's supposed to work on what, where are the sources, and where the
Yeah.
resources and funds should be dedicated to. And we look at that in a bigger broad picture because the job entails the governance, and the governance part comes, it's like I have mentioned, we're not working by ourselves. We support business. So we have a senior management that oversees the business. So we have to tell them, because we're the ones who are working now, we have to, these are the issues that we have in terms of cybersecurity, and this is
Mm.
the prioritization, this is the severity, this is what we're going to do. We are also hearing, we are aligning with them to hear what they can support us on in terms of funds and things like that. The governance part now, because on the governance now, because of course the board won't know what we're doing, so it's like we need to establish some sort of channel on how we can
Yeah.
communicate and let them know on the progress, because these people are giving us money now, and we have to give them updates. Progress is exactly of what we're doing. So there comes
Yeah.
the governance part. We work with providing reports
Yeah.
to the senior management, ensuring that they are
Mm-hmm.
aware of program
Yeah.
progress and what help we need from them, and where we can prioritize matters. Again, on the JRC, we also work closely with senior management to ensure that the policies, procedures, and all the documentations, all the rules on how we can use the technology, how people can interact, both the workers and our customers, how they should, interact in a safely manner. Because those policies, most people don't understand, but or they don't really like put into head that these policies are written or they are being dictated, for the lack of better words, by the senior management. Just like when you are at your home, your dad dictates, your dad writes the rules of how you can be living in his house. So the same in the business. Those senior management have these policies, but you know what? We are working together with them because when we are writing the policies, it's like we need a subject matter expert that will be advising the management. This technology, this is how it can be used. Putting into consideration our business, this is how we can use this technology. These are the rules that we should follow to ensure that we are safely utilizing this technology at the same time we're supporting the business. So that's the policies that we work together, maintaining these policies, making sure that whatever technology comes, it's actually being accommodated in the policies and procedures. At the same time, not only technology, but also when we have got regulations, you know, any business is regulated by a certain body, and to our case, we have got a certain bodies that regulate us, and all of these regulations have to be accounted, or they have to be included in our operations, in how we do things, because in order to make sure that there is an harmony. So also that has been to put into consideration. Then in terms of compliance, now there we have, I think we have the auditors, we have the auditors when they come in. Now we have to make sure that we are aligning with them, and we are supporting and coordinating all the audits that we have, not only external auditors but also internal auditors, just to make sure that when they are auditing our processes, they have all the right information for them to give us the right report, all the right gaps on our processes and procedures. So I can tell that's my day. And on top of that, as a JRC individual, I am also responsible for culture, cybersecurity culture, making sure that the culture is embedded in the technology, meaning that people do understand what they're supposed to do. They embodies the cyber culture. They live the cyber culture. They understand why they do it. It's they have, when I tell of the culture, it's not something that people are being forced, but rather it should be within them, should be encoded in their business DNA. When somebody from the customer service comes in the morning, they have to understand that they have responsibility in protecting customer information, protecting systems, protecting the business. And that has to come from people who have really understood the culture, or the culture has been ingrained in them. So that is offered in form of different activities. One of it is awareness and training, and awareness and training at different levels. Sometimes I've come across some people thinking that awareness and training only ends to the simple trainings that people receive. Let's say the cybersecurity awareness training that people normally get, but that goes to everybody in a sense that I myself, I work in cybersecurity, so I have to be trained when it comes to what I'm working on. The kind of training I have to undertake is different from somebody from, let's say, customer experience, or from banking and commerce and things like that. We also have to identify special needs for special people. We cannot rely on one kind of training across, because that will defeat the purpose of us making sure that we are ingraining that cybersecurity culture in people's business DNA, making sure that we identify different trainings for different groups, and these trainings actually being delivered in the language that they understand. And yeah, I think I have tried to explain what that job entails, or what I do on a day-to-day basis.
So, Macbethana, you had mentioned a lot of things that you do in your role. We are trying to understand what are some of the key skills and qualifications are needed for this role.
So in cyber GRC, you need to have, first of all, IT skills, basic IT skills, in such a way that you just need to understand infrastructure, different infrastructures and how they work. So the likes of operating systems, databases, and if possible, cloud. Then
Yeah.
you also have basic or a good understanding of cyber security. From principles of cybersecurity, you just need to understand those. You also need to understand different techniques and different techniques and methods that hackers are using to hack or to exploit infrastructures and people's information. Those you need to understand. So the likes of, it's just if you are starting your career, then I would say the likes of CCNA, CH, just for the sake of you familiarizing and understand the whole infrastructure and security at large. Then the more you go higher, then I can say the likes of CISA, that's for auditing, TSSP, that's General Security Manager, CISM. Those are also good, because these certifications will equip you with the basic or the framework of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the most important part is, the most important skill that one needs to have, I can say, is not even a certification, but rather you have to have a good skill of communication, because I have noticed, even I myself used to have this problem, and I'm still working on it, is most of us from IT, from technology field, we fail to communicate our what we are doing or what we need to the to people in business. So
Yeah.
that brings sort of a barrier. People won't understand you, because if you go to, let's say, a CFO and tell them we have a cyber breach that is DDoS, a CFO does not understand that. They understand money. That is what they understand. They understand numbers in terms of coins, shillings, dollars. That's what they understand. So communication is key, and knowing how to communicate. So just to translate from understanding this is a DDoS, then when I'm speaking to a CFO, what does this mean? When I'm speaking to somebody in risk enterprise, how should I tell them in their language for them to understand, while you're communicating same item on your end, that is, for instance, DDoS. So
Yeah.
uh, the skills can range from soft skills, which are, communication, drive, personal drive, because
Yeah.
what I've noticed is there is no difference when you're doing JRC, defense, and whatever. All of these fields in cyber, even in technology overall, you need to have the self-drive for you
Yeah.
to keep reading, researching, understanding what is going on every day. Because if we're protecting the cyberspace, meaning that the technology, you have to be informed and to know what is really going on, and that comes
Mm.
from you internally. Like, there will be nobody who's going to be pushing you, tell you, okay, now there is cloud, you need to go do cloud. Now you need to understand how clouds work. Now there is AI, you need to understand. No, it needs to come from inside for you to understand how it is, the infrastructure, how can you protect it. So there is no difference. Just certifications just will take you one place to another, but you
Yeah.
yourself, like, motivation from you inside, that is what is going to keep you abreast in this field.
That's very interesting. So, Macbethana, we've talked about a lot of things, from what the role really requires an individual in order to get into that specific role that you do, which is GRC. And then we also touch base on, some of the certifications you talked about, and also what your typical day looks like in this industry. Apart from that, what are some of the challenges that you face in this role?
Okay, in terms of challenge, I can say we still have a gap. We still need more people to come and fill in all the positions that are in cybersecurity, in a sense that you would find most of the times one person is stretched. They're wearing multiple hats, whereby if they could have, if it could have been many, could have been me wearing only JRC, and specifically in JRC wearing only risk, while Karim, we're doing defense and we work together, and I have time to focus, concentrate, if possibly do the research and things like that, making sure that I am sharpening my skills better, just like how hackers are. One thing I've learned about hackers is they are specialized and they are focused. The moment we don't have that, because we still have a gap, whereby it's very few people that are in cybersecurity that want to come in this field, and they want to to offer their skills and capabilities, just making sure that we're doing this thing together. So that's the biggest challenge I've seen. However, I'm seeing, to be quite honest, I'm seeing there is so much uh, uh, advancement in terms of the kind of technology that we're currently using, in terms of people. When I was coming out of the university for my degree, we didn't have
Yeah.
like societies just like what we have on oh my god, the arch and sec, or like the hack IT. We didn't have those things, you see. Okay, at least for me, I wasn't so much aware of those kinds of communities, and
Yeah.
we didn't have young people from the universities that were, wanted to practice. It's like, okay, one thing I've learned is that the environment is evolving in a better way. We
Mm.
have likes of Taha, we have people at the universities who want to do these things. Not only want to do these things, but also they are giving value to people's business. What do I mean by that? We have people who are participating in bug bounties. We have
Yeah.
people who are, who are coming to do pen tests. We have the likes of you who are, having communities, putting the communities together, nurturing the young people,
Yeah.
professionals who are in the industry. So actually that helps to bridge the gap, and I'm so happy seeing that is happening right now. And also we have, and the best part is, now I even see the government has the hand in it. You see, the likes of
Yeah.
TCRA, they are hosting, the challenges and things like that. All that is just to make sure that we're nurturing, the young generation, the
Yeah.
people who are in this community already, just to make sure that we are honing our skill, we're sharpening the skill, we are becoming better and better by day. So it is the gap that is still the challenge. I mean,
Yeah.
I can say the skill gap, but again, I'm seeing it being closed. I mean, there's so many efforts and initiatives that are being done to ensure that we have the talent and skill that will come and, and be a force for good and work against the bad people that we're currently
Yeah.
fighting. Yeah.
Very
So that's
true.
the biggest challenge. However, there are a lot of other challenges that we have, but to my understanding and to my experience, I can see that's the biggest one, and we are also working on it. And I'm happy seeing the likes of you who are doing
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the compliment. So
Yes. Yeah.
for I came to understand from this conversation that we are having right now that you are doing a lot of things at one time. So you have the governance, you have the risk, you're dealing with the auditors, etc. Now, with all this going on in your life, how do you stay up to date with the ever-evolving cybersecurity threats?
Just like what I've mentioned, it's the community. To be quite honest, for me, it's the community that keeps me ahead of the game. That keeps me wanting to find out more. I can say it's a cybersecurity community, both locally, and even the global. So I am fortunate enough to work in a global company. Where I'm working also, we have some sort of communities whereby if you go to these communities, like, you get to meet people and they share their experiences.
Yeah.
Only that, but also sometimes it's just I believe when you're in technology, you should not be sleeping. You need to be also matching me with the way technology is evolving itself, else you'll be outdated. So again, that's one
Yeah.
another that makes me be updated all the time, because I believe technology is changing. So for instance, like uh, right now we have the biggest topics like the AI. We
Yeah.
have the AI, we have the Gen and AI LLMs. So
Yeah.
all of these things, they require you to understand, because I cannot go, if we're using AI in a company, how are you gonna be championing for AI policies if you yourself don't understand what AI is? How is it? How it works? How it's going to process people information? We need to understand all these elements. So the way technology is evolving also pushes me to say, you know what, I want to understand. So for instance, like
Yeah.
me, I work with policies. So in one thing with policies is you need to understand technology, because I cannot come and tell you these are the rules that you need to follow unless you
Yeah.
yourself
True.
understand that the rules will be accommodated in your technology.
Yeah.
So again,
Very
that
true.
requires, for instance, like if I push the rule that says we should not use AI, you should have reasons to tell people
Mm.
why you cannot have AI. Why is it
Yeah.
it's the best thing